अग्नेन यशुपथा राये अस्मान् विश्वानि देव वयुनानि विद्वान् योयोध्यस्मज्जुहुराणमेनो ओइष्ठां ते नम उक्तिं विधेम. The summarized meaning of all these prayers. O divine creator, you are the Lord of all beings. You are the giver of life. You are the supreme among all animate and inanimate things of the world. You are the sole ruler of all the creatures. O God, please remove all the ills and evils from us and endow us with all that is noble. O God, abode of bliss, we offer our oblations to you with devotion. O God, the self-effulgent being, you are the giver of spiritual and physical strength. You are meditated upon by the whole universe. You are our creator, friend, and support. You know everything, every place, and every region. Please lead us through the path of virtue to prosperity. As you know all the paths of actions, which keep us away from evil deeds. And we bow to you with reverence again and again. Oh. Okay, so before you are going to start the havan, first is achaman. So take water in the right palm. With every swaha, you will sip it. Om amritopastaranamase swaha. Om amritapidhanamase swaha. Om satyam yashah srirmayi srihi srayatam swaha. Wipe your hand. If you have napkins, then take water in your left palm. Use your right hand to touch different body parts. First right and then left. Om Vangmasya astu. Om Nasor me prano astu. Om Akshnor me chakshurastu. Om Karnayor me shrotramastu. Om Bahor me balamastu. Om Purvorma. Om Arishtani me Angani Tanustanva me Sahasantu. Achaman and Angasparsha to cultivate the sense of purity internally and externally. The sense of purity internally means to make our mind focus without any distraction. And the physically feeling that I am pure enough, clean enough to perform the yajna. Okay. So now those who have the long spoon, take it and I will ignite it. Om Bhur Bhuvah Swaha. Om Bhur Bhuvah Swaradyaureva Bhumna Prathiviva Varimna Tasyaste Prathivi Devaya Jani Prishthe Agni Manna Manna Dhyaya Dadhe. Put the fire inside the havan cone and make sure the fire is properly inflamed. If it is needed, put little bit ghee on that. Om Udbudhya Swagni Pratijagrahi Tvamishta Purte Samtrajetha Mayamcha Asmin Chadaste Dhyutarasmin Vishwe Deva Yajamanascha Sidata. Okay. So now Samidhadhan. If you have wood sticks, 3 wood sticks. If you are a couple, take 1 wood stick, both of you hold it. Om Ayanta Idma Atma Jata Vedaste Nedhyasva Vardhasva Cheta Vardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhir Brahma Varchase Nanna Dehena Samedhaya Swaha Idam Agnaye Jata Vedase Dannamama. Take the second one. Om Samidhagnim Dovasyata Ghriteiribodhayata Tithim Asmin Havya Juhotana. Om Susamidha Yasho Jishe Gritam Tivram Juhotana Agnaye Jata Vedase Idam Agnaye Jata Vedase Dannamama. Take the third one. ओम तन्त्वा समिद्भिरङ्गिरो घृतेन वर्धयामसि बृहच्छोचायभिष्ठय स्वाहा इदमग्नये अंगिरसे इदन्नमम. So now those who have the sruva, the long spoon, hold it. With every swaha, you will offer ghee. Om ayanta idma atma jata vedaste nidhyasva vardhasva cheddha vardhaya chasman prajaya pashubhir brahma varchasenanna dehena samedhaya idamagnye jata vedase dannamama. Om ayanta idma atma जात वेदस्ते निध्यस्व वर्धस्व चेत्त वर्धय चास्मान् प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्म वर्चसेनान्नादेन समेधय इदमग्नये जात वेदसे दन्नमम. ओम अयन्त इद्म आत्मा जात वेदस्ते निध्यस्व वर्धस्व चेत्त वर्धय चास्मान् प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्म वर्चसेनान्नादेन समेधय इदमग्नये जातवेदसे दन्नमम. ओम अयन्त इद्म आत्मा जातवेदस्ते निध्यस्व वर्धस्व चेत्त वर्धय चास्मान् प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्म वर्चसेनान्नादेन समेधय स्वाहा इदमग्नये जातवेदसे दन्नमम. ओम अयन्त इद्म आत्मा जात वेदस्ते निध्यस्व वर्धस्व चेत्त वर्धय चास्मान् प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्म वर्चसेनान्नादेन समेधय स्वाहा इदमग्नये जात वेदसे इदन्नमम. The next is Jala Prokshana. So in east first, Om Aditenu Manyasva. Then west, Om Anumate Numanyasva. So now north, the audience side, Om Saraswatya Numanyasva. Om Deva Savita Prasuvayajam Prasuvayajpatim Bhagaya Divyo Gandharvaha Ketapuh Ketannah Punato Vachaspatirvacham Nahaswadatu. Again, hold your spoon. With every swaha, will offer ghee. Only ghee. Om Agnaye Swaha Idam Agnaye Idannamama. Om Somaya Swaha Idam Somaya Idannamama. Om Prajapataye Swaha Idam Prajapataye Idannamama. Om Indraya Swaha Idam Indraya Idannamama. So hereafter, ghee and samagri both for the Dainik Havan. Those who are offering ghee, they will go with that. Others will offer samagri. Om Suryo Jyotirjyotihi Suryaha Swaha. Om Suryo Varcho Jyotirvarchaha Swaha. Om Jyotihi Suryaha Suryo Jyotihi. Om Sajurudevena Savitra Sajurushashendravatya Joshanah Suryo Vetus. Om Agnirjyotirjyotiragnihi Swaha. Om Agnirvarcho Jyotirvarchaha. Om Swaha. Om Sajurdevena Savitra Sajuratrendраvatya Joshano Agnirvetu Swaha. Om Bhuragnaye Pranaya Swaha. Idam Agnaye Pranaya Idannamama. Om Bhuvarvayave Apanaya Swaha. Idam Vayave Apanaya Idannamama. Om Swaradityaya Vyanaya Swaha. Idam Adityaya Vyanaya Idannamama. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaragnivayavatitebhyah Pranapanavyanebhyah Swaha. Idam Agnivayavatitebhyah Pranapanavyanebhyah Idannamama. Om Apo Jyotiraso Mritam Brahma Bhurubhuvah Swarom. Om Yam Medham Devagana पितरश्च उपासते तया मामद्य मेधयाग्ने मेधाविनं कुरु ओम विश्वानि देव सवितर्दुरितानि परासुव यद्भद्रं तन्न आसुव ओम अग्नेन यसुपथाराये अस्मान् विश्वानि देव वयुनानि विद्वान् यो योध्यस्मज्जुहुराणमेनो भूयिष्ठां ते नम उक्तिं विधेम स्वाहा. Okay, so now only key. Only Om Bhuragnaye Swaha Idam Agnaye Dannamama Om Bhuvarvayave Idam Vayave Dannamama Om Swaradityaya Swaha Idam Adityaya Dannamama Om Bhurbhuvah Swaragnivaayavadityebhyah Swaha Idam Agni Vayavadityebhyah Idannamama. सृष्टिकृत अगर है तो ठीक है, देयर इज नथिंग, द ओनली की है, ठीक है, ओके. ओम यदस्य कर्मणोत्यरीरिचं यद्वा न्यूनमिहाकरम् अग्निष्टस्विष्टकृत विद्यात् सर्वं स्विष्टं सुहूतं करोतु मे अग्नये स्विष्टकृते सुहूतहुते सर्वप्रायश्चिताहुतीनां कामानां समर्धयित्रे सर्वान्नः कामान् समर्धय इदम् अग्नये स्विष्टकृते इदन्नमम घी ओम स्वाहा इदं प्रजापतये इदन्नमम ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः अग्न आयोंसि पवस आसुवोरुजमिषं चनः आरे बाधस्वतुच्छुनाहं स्वाहा इदम् अग्नये पवमानाय इदन्नमम ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः अग्निऋषिः पवमानः पाञ्चजन्यः पुरोहितः तमीमहे महागयम् इदम् अग्नये पवमानाय इदन्नमम ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः अग्ने पवस्वस्वपा अस्मे वर्चः सुवीर्यं दधत्रयं मयि पोषं स्वाहा इदम् अग्नये पवमानाय इदन्नमम ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः प्रजापते न त्वदेतान्यन्यो विश्व जातानि परिता बभूव यत्कामास्ते जुहुमस्तन्नो अस्तु वयं श्यामपतयोरयीणां स्वाहा इदं प्रजापतये इदन्नमम. So again घी and सामग्री both. ओम त्वं नो अग्ने वरुणस्य विद्वां देवस्य हेळवयासि श्रेष्ठः यजिष्ठो वह्नितमः शोषुचानो विश्वाद्वेषांसि प्रमुमुग्ध्यस्मात् स्वाहा इदमग्नि वरुणाभ्यामिदन्नमम ओम सत्वं नो अग्ने अवमो भवोति नेदिष्ठो अस्या उषसो विष्टौ अवयक्ष्वनो वरुणं रराणो वीहि मृळिकं सुहवो न एधि स्वाहा इदमग्नि वरुणाभ्यामिदन्नमम ओम इमं मे वरुण श्रुधे हवमद्या च मृळय त्वामवसुराचके स्वाहा इदं वरुणाय इदन्नमम ओम तत्त्वायामि ब्रह्मणा वन्दमानस्तदा शास्ते यजमानो हविर्भिः अहेळमानो वरुणेह बोध्युरुषं समान आयुः प्रमोषिः इदं वरुणाय इदन्नमम ओम ये ते शतं वरुण ये सहस्रं यज्ञः पाशा वितता महन्तः तेभिर्नो अद्य सवितोत विष्णुर्विश्वे मुञ्चन्तु मरुतः स्वर्गाः स्वाहा इदं वरुणाय सवित्रे विष्णवे विश्वेभ्यो देवेभ्यो मरुद्भ्यः स्वर्गेभ्यः इदन्नमम ओम मयाश्चाग्ने स्यानभिषस्तिपाश्च सत्यमित्वमयासि अयानो यज्ञं वहास्ययानो धेहि भेषजं स्वाहा इदमग्नये अयसेदन्नमम ओम उदुत्तमं वरुणपाशमश्मदवाधमं विमध्यमं श्रथाय अथा वयमादित्यव्रते तवानागसो अदितये स्याम स्वाहा इदं वरुणायादित्यायादितये च इदन्नमम ओम भवतन्नः समनसौ सचेतसा वरे पसौ मा यज्ञं हिं शिष्टं मा यज्ञपतिं जातवेदसौ शिवौ भवतमद्यनः idam jata vidubhyam idam mama. Om bhurbhuvah swah tatsaviturvarenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo nah prachodayat swaha. So in the mantra swadhyaya series, so today's mantra from Rig Veda, Mandal 1, Sukta is 164, the mantra is 45. Om Chatvari Vak Parimita Padani Tani Vidur Brahmana Ye Manishinaha Guhatrini Nihita Nengayanti Turiyam Vacho Manusya Vadanti Swaha. The translation of this mantra, speech has been measured out in 4 grades. Those enlightened people who are wise know them. 3, kept in close secret, indicate no meaning. People speak only the 4th grade of speech. So the speech we speak, it has 3 labels, 3 stages. The way when we express our intentions or knowledge, so that is the first stage of speech. So that is called Vaikhari. Those who can speak, they use language, words. Those who cannot speak, they use their body language, the sign language. It means when you are expressing your intentions or knowledge or anything, it's coming out of your body. So that is the first or the one stage of speech, and that is called Vaikhari. And the second stage of speech is, that is called Madhyama. You don't express it, it's still going on in your mind. You are thinking lots of things you think. Suppose husband want to say many things to his wife. Sometimes is he using this Madhyama to just for the peace and happiness. People are office working, wants to say many things to his boss, but they know the later results. So they use the Madhyama, which is going on your mind, but you are not expressing it. So when you are reciting a mantra loudly, that is Vaikhari. But if you are mentally reciting it, that is Madhyama. So anything, but if you are not speaking, it doesn't mean that speech is not going on. Constantly, the speech is going on in your mind. So that stage of speech is called Madhyama. Normally, common people use these 2 levels of speeches. The 3rd stage of speech is called Pashyanti. In Sanskrit, Pashyati means to see, and from that the philosophy is also called Darshana, which means to see. To see is not through the senses, the stage of realization. When a scientist realizing something, finding something, a philosopher, a political scientist, a spiritual person, when something is going on in an inner stage of your mind, it's not in the surface level of your mind, in the inner stage of mind. Or the spiritual enlightened person, or the person who is in a meditative stage, higher level. And he or she is realizing something, or the intuitions coming and going. The mathematician solving the problems. The scientist finding a new thing. First is going on in his mind or her mind. That stage of mind where you are not using any expressive language or silent language, but still it's going on. That stage is called Pashyanti. And the last stage, Para, the subtlest form of the speech, the innermost, that happens only when a person at the stage of realization. In Yoga Darshan, you called it asampragyata samadhi. There is both the knower, knowledge, and the object of knowledge are now collapsed. Nothing is happening, but still the knowledge is there. The absolute bliss is there. Even when you come back from that meditative stage, you cannot explain it, what type of taste it was, what type of realization it was. There is no language to explain it. Abhyaksham, abhyaktam. That stage of speech is called para. So the mantra, this mantra is saying that those enlightened people, they only know the 4 stages of speeches, the 4 divisions of speeches. The common people normally use the one that is the expressive, the vaikhari. Sometimes we use the silent mode speech. But normally, the only one stage of speech is expressive. Rest of 3 are always in secret mode. So this is the simple meaning of the mantra. I have my limited time. So again, with Gayatri mantra, we will conclude. Om Bhur-Bhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Sarvam Vai Purnam. Om Sarvam Vai Purnam Swaha. Om Sarvam Vai Purnam Swaha. With this, Havan is now concluded. Please everyone join with Smriti ji to sing this beautiful bhajan prayer. Yeah, please. those who are sitting in Bhavan or audience, please join with me to pray God to bless each other. Say Om Yum Jivata Sharadah Shatam Vardhamanaha Yum Ayushmantah Varchasvinaha Tejasvinaha Shrimantah Bhuyasaha. It means, O God, may we enjoy life of 100 years, always progressing with full of wisdom, virtue, strength, vitality and prosperity. May welfare come to all of you and may God bless you. Just wait there. Om swasti na indro bruddhasravaha swasti na pusha vishwavedaha swasti nastarkho arishtanemi swasti no brihaspate dadhatu. Om bhadram karnebhiः shrunuyam deva भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवांसस्तनभिर्व्यसेमहि देवहितं यदायुः. जो पीछे बैठे हैं वहाँ मेरा अंदर से चला गया है, जो आगे बैठे हैं वो पानी से गया है, तो डोंट माइंड. ओके, थैंक यू वेरी मच. सो इसी के साथ हवन संपूर्ण होता है. आप लोग आराम से उठिए, आगे की कार्यक्रम की करिए. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
ओम ओम. सभी को इज टू लाउड, रिड्यूस इट. सभी को सादर अभिवादन. आप लोग अपनी अपनी सीट ग्रहण कर लीजिए तो हम लोग प्रोग्राम शुरू कर सकें. आज हमारे साथ मंच पे अतुल भाई कोठारी जी हैं, जहाँ कल बच्चे गए थे महात्मा गांधी म्यूज़ियम, इटर्नल गांधी म्यूज़ियम देखने के लिए. आपके प्रयास से बना है. और हमारे राजा बांगा जी हमारे ह्यूस्टन के बहुत ही प्रतिष्ठित तबला प्लेयर हैं. ये मेरा सौभाग्य है कि मैं उनके साथ में हर संडे को मुझे एकम्पनीमेंट मिलता है उनका. आज मैं जो भजन गाऊंगी एक निर्गुण भक्ति का. ना मैं धर्मी ना मैं अधर्मी, ना मैं जति ना कामी हूँ, ना मैं कहता ना मैं सुनता, ना सेवक ना स्वामी हूँ. बेटा कंट्रोल इट इज कमिंग. अब एक भजन जो मैं चाहती हूँ कि आप लोग मेरे साथ चैंट करिएगा, बहुत प्यारा है। अब रास्ता कर दो खाली, आई फौज दयानंद वाली। तो इससे बढ़िया फौज और क्या हो सकती है, तो ज़रूर रिपीट करिए मेरे साथ में। अब रास्ता कर दो खाली, आई फौज दयानंद वाली।
नहीं तो मैं गाती रहूंगी। कम ऑन, आई शुड हियर यू। रास्ता कर दो खाली, आई फौज दयानंद वाली। अब रास्ता कर दो खाली, आई फौज दयानंद वाली। हम हैं इसके माली, आई फौज दयानंद वाली। आवे मुख पर
महर्षि दयानंद जी की।
नमस्ते। आपका आज के दिन में बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। वेलकम यू ऑल अगेन। आई सी द हाउस इज हाफ फुल. Those of you, maybe some of the people had early morning flights or they had to leave, so that's okay. आज यहाँ पर आप हैं तो we are very happy and you are very lucky because today is the final day that we are almost at the closing of our Mahasammelan, 3 days of celebrations, kickoff of Swami Dayanand Saraswati's 200 years birth anniversary coming next year, and as you heard yesterday night that the culmination of these celebrations will be in New York next year. Those of you who were not here last evening, and that would be an international Mahasammelan happening in New York. So the agenda for today is that we will like to summarize whatever we have gone or whatever we did in the last 2.5 days. So we'll be presenting some summaries. If you are a parent, had a kid, you might know that they were in the back having their independent separate sessions. We had curated a wonderful program for the youth. And I like to talk about the youth program. This year, what was different was this program was totally and very independently designed, executed by the youth. So, which is a big achievement. You saw our youths here performing the yajna. So that gives me a lot of hope that our next generation, we are passing on the values. Very thankful to all the parents and all of you who take efforts and make efforts so that the next generation knows what our value system is, what are the cultural and other important rituals in our customs. So I am very thankful. So if Siddhant Ahuja is listening my voice now, you are up. Siddhant, Siddhant Ahuja. Siddhant Ahuja, you should have looked at the time. Now is the time that you should be in this hall. If not, then if Kapil Mehta ji is here, Kapil Mehta ji, to youth ki to abhi, I think, youth is here, that's great. So this is Siddhant Ahuja. You have seen quite a bit of him, and let's welcome him again with a great round of applause. I am so proud of Siddhant. He is the youngest member of Arya Samaj Management Committee, Arya Samaj Greater Houston Management Committee. He was the one, with the help of a big team of the youth, which you, some of them you will be seeing here, who have done a lot of hard work with the support of some of our Acharya Brahmdev ji, Sanjay Ahuja ji, and Rajesh Khosla ji, and many others. But we were at the back end. They were leading from the front, and they did an awesome job. Let's have a round of applause for them. We are so proud of them. You want to connect?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. Awesome. Thank you. So I'll let, but you will need to connect to Zoom.
Go ahead. Use Zoom meaning. I can also open it on the drive there. Yeah. So hold this. Come up. Hold this. Go ahead. Go. It's plugged in. Cool. Pull up the notes on your phone. Yep. Can you pull your laptop up, bro? It has all the comments. No, it doesn't really show it. Yeah. Perfect. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. So, as many of you know, every year we have a separate youth program running for all the youth. We have a youth camp. We invite various speakers. We have a fantastic youth field trip. And so we had a fantastic youth program this year. So I want to just start off by thanking all of you and thanking all the speakers and the entire committee for their fantastic work. So can we just start off and give a huge round of applause to them? Beyond our committee, we had immense support from a variety of folks, and I've written their names because I don't want to forget, but, Acharya Brahmdev ji, who was so engaged, joined our weekly meetings. I'll talk about more how he was involved in the sessions he led shortly, but, almost 5 different sessions he led with our youth. Rajesh Khosla ji, who was very involved, Atul Kotari ji, Aditya Talwar uncle, Sanjay Jain ji, and then my father, Sanjay Ahuja ji, and they were all involved in sort of supporting and sort of cheering us on always, so I'm very grateful to them. We had over 40 youth participate this year in the youth camp, which was really, incredible. And so I'm excited now to sort of transition and let my team take over and share various aspects and some of the different learnings that we had from our various sessions. So handing it off there. I think the last thing I'll say that's really important to me, and I'll share a story at the end, but I think what I'm grateful for personally, I think, is many bonds and friendships were made, right? And I think beyond all the learnings, I'll share a story, but Sinishil and I met at a Sammelan 10 years ago, and met one time and didn't see each other for 5 years after that. And he's living at my house today, staying with me, all right? So, I think Sammelan, obviously, we look at it for learnings and following the Vedic faith and all of that, but I think beyond that, there's a huge opportunity for youth to really connect, stay in touch, and with that, even join for next year's International Sammelan, where they can continue building these bonds. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to the team to, who goes next? Go ahead.
All right. So sticking with the theme of building bonds, we decided to kick off Thursday night with a fun icebreaker. We did a balloon tower building challenge, and we broke into teams. We blew up balloons and we constructed something together. The winning team won prizes. They won the Gayatri Mantra sash, so they get to look more stylish all weekend. That was just like a quick way for us to break the ice and get to know each other a little bit, so the sessions are a little bit more fun and interactive on Friday.
So as I mentioned, a really important part of the youth camp was the youth speaker sessions, right? And I think, as you can see up here, we had, variety of sessions, everything from vegetarianism to contributions of Maharshi Dayanand to sessions on mental health, right? And I think, these are really informative learning sessions for our youth. And I think I'll first off thank all the speakers for taking the time, right? Because I know many of them could have been here in different sessions, but they took the time. A few special call-outs, as I mentioned, Shuchi Koslaji, who spent almost 2 hours on mental health. I think that topic is so prevalent, so important for our society today. And I'll give you an example. She, and Sunny will share more, but for high school, she took a very case-based approach and really focused on for each group, for elementary, storytelling, right? For middle school, finding the balance of not being, too serious, but also having some fun, right? Talking about bullying. With high school, actually having a dialogue about how would you approach, if someone's in a certain situation, right? So I think kudos to her, kudos to Acharya Brahmdeoji, who was basically all afternoon in the school, right? And from leading bhajans with our elementary youth to talking about practical applications of yoga, right, in daily life. He was just fantastic and a huge support system for us. So thank you to him. So now we had room leaders for each elementary, middle school, and high school group, and basically their job was beyond entire planning. Day of, their responsibility was managing the room, ensuring the speakers were sort of set up on time, and then also many of them also presented sessions. So I'll hand off to each of them to sort of share what were the key learnings that each group had from the various speakers, and I think it'll be exciting for you to hear some of those highlights.
Namaste everyone, my name is Soham.
And I'm Abhimanyu.
So we were the chairs for our elementary session, and we're here to give you some key takeaways, some key points, some really deep learnings that we gathered throughout the 3 days, and then maybe also towards the end some things we might be able to improve on for next year.
So we had multiple sessions ranging from different diverse topics, from mental health, bullying, ventriloquism, to vegetarianism, and we want to talk about 3 stories that stuck with us. One was Acharya Brahmdeoji's stories, second was Suchi Khoslaji's story, and third is a story when things don't go according to the plan. What do we do? So there was a time when we had a schedule and things were not going according to the plan. How did we as a team recovered?
So to start off with, we want to talk about how Acharya Brahmdeoji was able to show us the power of mantra chanting. So one of my big key takeaways from this was the power of chanting Om to help calm the mind, clear the thoughts, and create a still and clear mind. He used imagery such as water in buckets. So a clear bucket of water with no ripples still is able to reflect the sun, while a muddied bucket of water or a disturbed bucket of water cannot do the same. This reflects our mind as well. Right? A clear, still mind is able to learn information at twice the rate and be able to recall information much better, while a muddied mind or a disturbed mind cannot do the same.
Suchi Khoslaji's session led us towards pondering on mental health and its harmful effects it has on our youth. We in this society are dealing with mental health issues. We're dealing with bullying. It is a topic that is of prime importance to our youth, to our kids. We were very touched about her discussion-based approach. She helped us understand key basic concepts like what is bullying and how do we tackle it. Not just that, she also helped us build into different things. Help kids thought, hey, why am I doing this? Why is someone else bullying?
So going on to our third main learning, what happens when things go awry, when things don't go according to plan? We had a long, unprepared, extended break, an hour or so. So what did we do? We went into Jeopardy as well. We played Jeopardy, and what we learned is that we learned all about Arya Samaj. We learned about Maharishi Dayanand. We learned about all these different aspects.
So, elaborating on what Suhaim is saying, there was an extended break. We didn't had much to do. Kids wanted to go out to play. They were like, hey, can we go out? Given the instructions, we could not have taken out because of if they could have hurt themselves. So, as chairs, we had to be creative, thinking on our feet. How do we change? How do we build back? How do we keep kids engaged and have them learn at the same time? So what we did, we introduced different techniques that we learned through our Arya Samaj as kids. So we brought games back to our life. So we played different games which helped them to bond together, to be more inclusive. So there were people from different opposite sex, right? There were male and there were female kids. So they wanted to play only with male kids and not with the female kids. So we brought together a game where you had to be on 4 corners, and you had to, there was one person in the middle. He would go and you'd basically pick a corner. So this game helped them understand how do we be more inclusive, how do we be more mindful of the other person, and how do we keep on engaging with ourselves and at the same time build ourselves. Handing on to Avishkrit.
Namaste everyone, my name is Havishkrit Arya and I was leading the middle school session. This was, I think, the first time for me leading a session, so it was the first time for me being outside the perspective, not just listening but also taking photos and taking care of time, all of that. So it was a cool experience. I think one theme that really stood out through all of my sessions in middle school was all the speakers were really, really interactive, right? We had I think 7 or 8 children, and they were not very, very old. So they were at the age where they could understand good concepts, but at the same time, they would get really easily bored. And I think all the speakers took really good care of that and made sure that the children were interested in the presentation, interacting with the presenter and each other. And so some few moments, right? As we talked about, Suchi Khoslaji had her bullying topic, which I think was a really good kickoff to the middle school presentation, simply because she's really good at having children talk to her and talk amongst themselves. One example of that is around the middle of her speech, right? She asked everyone to stand up. She said, everyone get your chairs in a circle facing each other. So I'll walk around and you guys can share your personal experiences with bullying or with mental health. And I think what that did is not only did it allow the children to learn about other experiences, other perspectives, it allowed them to learn more about each other and connect well, because they were going to be with each other for the next 5 hours. So that was a really good connecting session. Other sessions I liked, of course, Acharya Brahmdevji's bhajan sessions, I think was amazing, because he not only had children recite a variety of mantras and shlokas, he had us go through the meaning of them, sing the meaning, and explain the meanings word by word so that all the children actually knew what they were reciting. Another session, I think Pandit Bharat Singh ji, where he came, and what he did was he saw these children were tired, they were sitting down, bored. He first had them stand up. He had them exercise, move their arms, move their legs, get them ready to learn, and then gave us a good speech on the 10 attributes of dharma. Again, the recurring theme, all the sessions were interactive. They were really, really good for these children who get bored but can still kind of understand concepts, right? And then we had our Jeopardy game as well, which I think was a huge success just because the children are good at learning, but they're even better at learning when they're competing against each other, right? They're better at answering questions, raising their hand, being really participatory if they're getting points for it, which is a system in Jeopardy. So they got to learn about Arya Samaj while at the same time competing against their friends, having fun, laughing. It was all in all a really, really good experience in middle school.
Namaste, everyone. My name is Sinishal Dev. So for the high school session, we had a few really standout topics. One of them was led by my dad, Pandit Sunilji, and he talked about the application of Arya Samaj principles in everyday life. So taking them from abstract concepts to very practical things that we can apply with school, work, relationship challenges. And one key takeaway was that one shouldn't just be content with personal self-growth, but growth in everyone. Then Soham and I had the opportunity to give a talk on meditation and mindfulness. And one of the fun parts of that is that we actually got to practice with the kids and do a 5-minute meditation session where we talked about some of the challenges that came up, some of the ways that we can integrate this into a daily habit where we're really grasping the benefits of meditation. Acharya Brahmdeoji, as we mentioned earlier, gave many talks, but one of the key ones was the applications of yoga in daily life. And one thing that was a little unexpected is asana is only 1/8 of yoga. There's so many other limbs, and I think that gets lost in Western society. So it was great to ground our children in that and illuminate all the other aspects of yoga. After that, we had Bhuvnesh Khoslaji talk about how youth can contribute to Arya Samaj and improve their communities. So we actually had a workshop where we talked about some of the biggest problems in our communities and how we can take daily actions towards improving them. Things like climate change, prejudice, and healthcare access. So really taking this into global problems. And finally, Puneet Gupta ji, he talked about contributions of Maharishi Dayanand in the form of a life story and some of the challenges that he faced throughout his life, how he was able to overcome them and make such a huge contribution to India. I learned a lot. I think there was a lot of historical context that wasn't covered before that the youth were able to really engage with and gain a lot from. So I'll hand it back over to Sid for the live entertainment portion.
So folks, I know now we've been talking about very serious topics. Obviously, there was a lot of learning, a lot of good dialogue and discussions, but there was fun as well. Let's be clear about that. One aspect of that fun was we had, very, very grateful. I don't know if he's in the audience, but if he is, please stand up. Santosh Kumarji, who's a world-renowned ventriloquist, actually came, dedicated almost 2 hours. He gave 30 minutes to each group, elementary, middle, and high. And I mean, once again, this is just the beauty of him taking out time, just as many of our speakers, and catering to each group. With elementary, sitting on the floor playing with them, and like playing with this puppet and sort of showing that. With high school, he's giving a workshop of how can you improve your voice modulation. So it was a really incredible experience. I think all of us laughed a lot, and just a very cool thing for us to see of such a beautiful talent that he had, and he took all the time to fly out and spend so much time with all of us. So huge round of applause for him.
I think a lot of us recognize this picture. This was Yajna Havan last morning, which the youth did. Before I go and talk about that, right, this was the practical application, but in our middle school sessions, I saved this part for now, our middle school sessions, we had Mr. Rajesh talk about the science behind Yajna, right? There's different processes we do and how they affect the environment around us and our own body. And I think right after that, Saturday Havan was a really good opportunity for youth to experience that for themselves and to see how like Achman can help clear their throat, can help purify their mind, their body, their voice, their actions, and how the Havan can help purify the environment, etc., etc. So one thing that was really cool for me was everyone together reciting the mantras, reciting Swaha, the ambience it created, the environment it created was really, really peaceful, really, really amazing.
And I think we must all appreciate that. I've been with Arya Samaj for 20 years. मुझे सब श्लोक मंत्र आते हैं. लेकिन to have the confidence to go on stage and recite the Havan from end to end, I mean, Havishka did a fantastic job. So huge round of applause for him. So I think we're transitioning now to the sort of final part. What we spent sort of yesterday doing was we also had a youth field trip, right? And I think this is one element that to me has been extremely important from 10 years ago when I first attended the Sammelan in Jersey, because it's how I built all the bonds and friendships. And I think you'll see more about that today. But we had two aspects to it. First was, we visited the Eternal Gandhi Museum. And, this is a museum, it's the first museum in the nation dedicated to Mahatma Gandhi and sharing his contributions to the world and his path to nonviolence and satyagraha and all of that. And so I think this was just, first off, an incredible experience. The actual museum has not even launched yet, but Atul Kothari ji was, kind enough to make the time, spend several hours with all the youth. And so I don't know if he's in the audience, but let's all clap for him, please. I think it's just fantastic. I do want to share a few learnings. I mean, I think you can see a few photos of the museum here. I'll call out, I do not love going to museums because I find a lot of it to be a little bit dull. This was the exact opposite of that. Extremely interactive, beautiful experience. I mean, you're really immersed in the life of Mahatma Gandhi, right? And so I'll share, there was actual exhibits where, you hear someone actually narrating stories of Gandhi, everything from the first story of Mahatma Gandhi and how he, went on the path of Satyagraha and the train story, right, of how he was kicked off the train, right? And our kids learning about that, all the way to the salt marches, right? And fighting against the tax on salt, right? I think this is extremely informative. What I will say, I think that was what I loved the most about the museum was often we go to a museum, we learn a lot, and then it's like, what's the key takeaway, right? At the end of the Gandhi Museum, there was actually stations where youth were able to commit to a certain action, right? And so,
Like the adult Bhuvan experience for that.
okay.
Your time is almost.
Sorry, Atul uncle. Maybe I shouldn't. But anyways, it was an incredible experience, and I think youth had much to learn there. I'll keep it short. So this is a theater, a beautiful theater they had where we saw a video of Gandhi and other leaders. We'll wrap up quickly. So main event was the second half of the day. Had incredible fun, indoor arcade. You can see many sort of kids here on gravity ropes, playing laser tag, etc. So that was a really fantastic experience, and I think kids had a fun time. And so I'll just wrap up quickly. I'll say thank you to everyone. As I said, Sammelan for me obviously is about the learnings, but for me it was always about the connections and the relationships and the bonds being built. And so I encourage all youth that next year for the International Sammelan, please do come. Please continue building these bonds, and I think this is just an incredible forum for us to learn and grow together. So namaste everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Sid. So one thing these youth leaders didn't tell you, under the guidance of Acharya ji, I'm hearing an echo. This program was curated by the youth for the youth. And I just like the co-chairs, Sanjay Suji and Rajesh Khosle ji, I'd like you to please recognize the youth leaders, starting with Abhimanyu Grover ji. Please, just come in the middle, please. Thank you.
Give them a round of applause.
Havishkrit Arya. Sunishal Dev. It takes a lot not just to first show up to Sammelan, but then also take leadership, right? These are our leaders for future. Soham. And lastly, not the least, probably the most professional youth I have met in my lifetime, and especially one who's dedicated to Arya Samaj. Siddhant, I would say, Sid. But I have one complaint, which I hope will fix next year, is you'll take me on the field trip. Please, this is not a good round, Texas-sized round of applause. Thank you for everything you've done, and I hope this is encouragement that you will continue to inspire more youth to lead further. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think kids had a lot of fun. I don't know about the adults. Let's hear from from our Kapil Mehtaji. I'm very thankful to Kapilji for having agreed. Just I called him. He was not even in Houston. He said, "Okay, I will do it because you are asking." I'm very grateful to you. That is the beauty about Arya Samaj Houston. If you ask somebody, nobody says no. And you forget about, means you tell somebody, the work will be done. And that is what is the beauty. And I'm very thankful to Ishwar Param Paramatma that we stay blessed like this. Which one is yours?
I opened this one. It was, it's just totally different. Just put it. There's no here. वो कहाँ गई this thing? हाँ ये ना, there's a नहीं
आपने खोली नहीं स्लाइड?
नहीं खोली थी मैंने. हाँ ये ना. Summary. There we go. There we go. Thank you. Namaste. Finally, we are actually at the conclusion of this wonderful 3 days conference. As Sanjay Suji said that he called me when I was in Dallas. So I agreed because what else could be a better way to celebrate your 73rd birthday, which happens to be today. So, thank you. So I was asked by Sanjay Suji if I could concisely and summarize this very enlightening and transformative 33rd Sammelan proceedings. So we have just experienced. This year's Sammelan had a special significance. First, because we are meeting after 3 long years of pandemic. Secondly, we are starting to the 200-year celebrations of Maharishi Dayanandji birth. And third, 150 years of Arya Samaj Foundation Day. Thank you. With that point of view, the theme of conference was appropriately selected, walking in the footsteps of Maharishi Dayanand. Over past 3 years, we gathered to explore, learn, and discuss various aspects of spirituality, culture, our obligations towards the society, and personal growth in light of Swami Dayanandji's teachings. The meeting was attended by nearly about, I think, 300 plus delegates from over 25 states. The inaugural evening of the Sammelan was highlighted by brilliant bhajan sandhya decorated by melodious bhajans by our own Samriti Ji's and her group, Beti Priya Gulati, and the brilliant live symphony by our youth group. Together they filled the atmosphere, you'll agree, with positive energy and devotion. This was followed by welcome address by Shri Girish Khoslaji. Subsequently, Sanjay Janji shared with you all the summary of Arya Samaj of Greater Houston, history and its success story. Each subsequent days, that means the second and third day, the morning started with a yoga session that helped the attendees to face the long, busy day ahead with the full energy. This was followed by daily Agnihotras to invoke the blessings of the Almighty. The sacred fire, along with auspicious Vedic mantras and invocations, filled the atmosphere with the sense of spiritual energy and devotion. The first day of conference began with flag hoisting ceremony and invocation by our youth and attendees. Bhuvnesh Khoslaji, the president of Arya Pratinidhi Sabha, USA, welcomed the delegates and distinguished guests and introduced the chief guest, Mr. Manjunath, the Consulate General of India, Houston, of India in Houston. In his address, the Consulate General of India highlighted the contributions of Maharishi Swami Dayanandji and acknowledged that Maharishi was not only a social transformer or reformer, but also a great visionary of his times, which we all agree. Keynote address was delivered by Dr. Rajendra Vidyalankarji, who very eloquently spoke about the Vedic values and principles of Arya Samaj and discussed their relevance in modern society. The emphasis was on Swami Dayanand Ji's teachings, promoting universal brotherhood, education, and eradication of social evils. In addition, many inspirational lectures by esteemed scholars on the life of and contributions of Swami Dayanand Ji's reminded the unwavering dedication of our great leader and the path he paved for us to follow. Throughout the day, various scholars and experts presented talks and thoughts on different aspects of Vedic philosophy, promoting the deeper understanding of our ancient scriptures and their practical applications in contemporary times. It was a pleasure to hear our youth members like Kavya and Punitji very persuasively their views on topics like pra and apra vidya and Katha Upanishad. Parallel sessions were conducted on topics like Vedic Sanskrit schools, starting of new Arya Samaj, and Shanka Samadhan to address the questions from the audience. These sessions encouraged meaningful discussions and exchange of ideas. The day concluded with mesmerizing Vedic cultural program, including devotional songs, Vedic chants, and traditional performance of DAV school students, which further reinforced the importance of preserving our cultural heritage. So some of the key takeaways from the first day are, instead of going over them, I think when I'm going to the second day's proceedings, you can read if you are interested. So ladies and gentlemen, let us now delve onto the enriching experiences of the second day of this conference. The morning commenced with thought-provoking lectures by scholars on current evils like Gurudam culture and how the organizations like Arya Samaj can help prevent such evils by promoting the knowledge-based and knowledge-driven Vedic teaching values. The discussions on Vedic philosophy in a digital age, exploring how we can use modern technology to disseminate the teachings of Swami Dayanand Ji and Arya Samaj while staying true to its core values was judicious and needed. In this context, 3 books to promote the Vedic values, namely Glimpses of Arya Samaj Principles and Practices by Dr. Arora Ji, Essentials of Yajna and Gita by late Shri Subhash Vidyalankar Ji, and Bhagavad Gita from Vedic Perspective by Tulsiram Sharma Ji were released and made available both in hard copy as well as the digital forms. In addition, many esteemed scholars like life coaches and spiritual leaders shared their insights and guidance on nurturing the personal development, emotional well-being, and mindfulness. Workshops and lectures were organized on yoga meditation, promoting Vedic education and youth empowerment through Arya Samaj. These interactive sessions fostered the sense of unity and enthusiasm among the participants. The conference also honored the individuals and organizations that have made significant contributions to the promotion of Vedic culture, education, and social welfare. In this context, it was a privilege to welcome and honor some members from Shri Shraddhanand Ji's, Pandit Hansraj Ji, and modern sannyasi Mahashay Ji's family. Their recognition served as an inspiration for others to continue their noble work. And I have summarized again the highlights of the second day's proceeding. Thank you. We already reached the conclusion. This is a little early. Yeah, thank you. So that brings us to the final today's events. Today was the final day of this Arya Samaj Sammelan conference. The day began with collective resolve to implement the ideas and teachings gained during the conference into practical actions. Participants actively participated throughout the meeting and in fundraising, vowing to promote Vedic principles and to contribute positively to the society. The grand finale featured the presentations by our youngsters, which I'm sure we all are impressed and feel very honored that our future generation is well in the right way to continue the traditional or promote the values, Vedic values in the future. The Arya Samaj Sammelan concluded with the collective prayers, or it will conclude, we should conclude the collective prayers for the peace, harmony, and prosperity in the world. The 3-day conference inspired the attendees with renewed sense of purpose, carrying the torch of Vedic wisdom and spreading the light of in every corner of the globe. So in conclusion, okay, I'll speak the conclusion. So ladies and gentlemen, the 3-day Arya Samaj Sammelan conference has been an enriching experience that provided the platform for enlightenment, solidarity, and the reinformation or reaffirmation of our shared values. The insights shared by our distinguished speakers have left us inspired and reminded us of our responsibility to preserve our ancient heritage while adapting to the changing times. Let us take these learnings to our heart, work together as a community to create a more harmonious and compassionate world. Thank you for your attention, and may the teachings of Arya Samaj continue to guide us on our journey of self-discovery and service to the humanity. Thank you very much. And I would like to really join me in giving a big hand of applause to all the volunteers, the organizers, the Pratinidhi Sabha members. Thank you very much for everything you have done.
I would like to recognize one individual who has been instrumental in organizing, creating our souvenir magazine. It's a beautiful magazine, and the magazine coordinator is our Harish Kalraji. I'll request him to please come here, and I'll request our session co-chair, Sammelan co-chairs to honor him. And I want someone to take the picture as well. Thank you, Kalraji, for putting relentless efforts to make it work. And we are keen to have him as the magazine coordinator for the next year too. So, and he has already agreed on that. Thank you, and Kalraji. I'm now requesting the closing remark or the closing inspirational address by none other than Adarniya Dr. Rajendra Vidyalankarji, who to me is an elder brother, but for many Arya Samaj followers, he is a great orator, Vedic scholar. For intellectuals, he is a professor in the university. So he is an academician. He is a successful entrepreneur, business person. He runs many educational institutions in India. He is a great orator, and currently he is serving as OSD, Officer on Special Duty to Acharya Devraji, the Governor-Shri of Gujarat. Without any further ado, I'll request Dr. Rajendra ji for his inspirational words to close today's program. Dr. Rajendra ji.
नमस्ते। तद्विष्णुः परमं पदं सदा पश्यन्ति सूरयः दिवीव चक्षुराततं दिवीव चक्षुराततम्। आर्य प्रतिनिधि सभा, अमेरिका के माननीय अधिकारीगण, आर्य समाज ह्यूस्टन के माननीय अधिकारीगण और समस्त अमेरिका से यहाँ पधारे हुए प्रतिनिधिगण, 3 दिन के इस आयोजन के समापन पर मुझे आदेश हुआ है कि मैं अपने अनुभव आपके समक्ष साझा करूं और उसके साथ साथ आर्य समाज की भविष्य की दृष्टि क्या हो, भविष्य का रास्ता क्या हो, टारगेट क्या हो, उन विषयों पर भी मैं थोड़ी सी चर्चा आपसे करूं। मैं कुरुक्षेत्र से आया हूं और गीता का स्मरण ना करूं तो मेरी बात अधूरी होगी। अर्जुन जैसा वीर योद्धा एक समय इसी परेशानी का शिकार था, मैं क्या करूं, मेरे लिए क्या अच्छा है, मेरे समाज के लिए क्या श्रेयस्कर है, मेरे देश के लिए क्या हितकर है। यही परेशानी लेकर के अर्जुन ने एक सवाल कृष्ण के सामने किया, और वो ऐसे आदमी के द्वारा उठाया गया सवाल था जिसके मुकाबले का योद्धा दूर दूर तक इतिहास में ज्ञात नहीं है, जिसका निशाना अचूक है, जिसके वेपन्स सांझ होने से पहले किसी भी युद्ध का फैसला कर सकते हैं। उतना स्किल्ड आदमी, उतना ताकतवर आदमी जब भ्रम का शिकार होता है तो इसी मुहाने पर आकर खड़ा होता है कि मैं आगे क्या करूं। और परेशानी का कारण क्या था? बहुत स्पष्टता से अपनी परेशानी का मूल्यांकन भी अर्जुन कर गए। क्लैब कार्पण्य दोषः उपहत स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वाम धर्म सम्मूढ़ चेतः। ये जो एक मेंटल स्टेटस था उस वक्त, अर्जुन की मनोदशा, उसके दिमाग में जो एक तूफान खड़ा था, उसके मन में जो एक द्वंद्व खड़ा हो गया, और उस सब ने उसके मन में एक कायरता का भाव जगा दिया, और उस कायरता के भाव ने उसके स्वभाव को मार डाला। कार्पण्य दोष, कार्पण्य दोष का अर्थ है मैं कायरता का शिकार हो चला। मेरा स्वभाव कायरता नहीं है। मैंने कुंती की छाती से दूध पिया है, और कुंती की छाती से दूध पीने वाली संतति कायर नहीं हो सकती। उस दूध का स्वभाव कायरता नहीं है। कार्पण्य दोषः उपहत स्वभाव, मेरे स्वभाव को उस कायरता ने मार डाला है। वो स्वभाव क्या था? वो स्वभाव था वीरता, संघर्ष, फेस करना, पीठ ना दिखाना, कमिटमेंट ना तोड़ना, पांव उखड़ करके न भाग जाना, स्थिरता से खड़े रहना और मुकाबला करना, यह मेरा स्वभाव था। उस स्वभाव पर प्रहार हुआ है। जब किसी का स्वभाव मरता है तो उसके मन में 1000 विकल्प खड़े होते हैं। यह कहानी व्यक्ति की नहीं है, यह समाजों की कहानियां हैं, ये राज्यों की कहानियां हैं। तमाम सल्तनत, तमाम एम्पायर जमींदोज हो गए तब जब उनका स्वभाव खिन्न हुआ। मैं आपसे निवेदन करूंगा, आप भारत के स्वभाव का स्मरण करें, ऋषियों के स्वभाव का स्मरण करें। हमारा जो स्वभाव है, उस स्वभाव को डिरेल करने के लिए कोई भी हमारे कान में फूंक मार करके जा रहा है। महाभारत के बड़े पात्र संजय युद्ध शुरू होने से एक दिन पहले अर्जुन के कैंप में जाकर के उसके कान में फूंक मारा है। क्या करेगा? फसाद में क्या रखा है? युद्ध से क्या निकालेगा? लोग मारे जाएंगे, अपाहिज हो जाएंगे, औरतें विधवा होंगी, बच्चे अनाथ होंगे, तमाम संपदा नष्ट होगी, ज्ञान विज्ञान की हानि होगी। महाभारत में एक संजययान पर्व है, अनुपर्व है, भीष्म पर्व के ठीक पहले है। युद्ध शुरू होने से ठीक पहली रात को अकेला पा करके महायोद्धा संजय ने अर्जुन के कान में जो फूंक मारी स्ट्रेटजी के तहत कि अर्जुन को भगा दो, ये भागा तो युद्ध खत्म। युद्ध की निर्णायक शक्ति अर्जुन के हाथ है। और वैसा ही हुआ। जो सवाल वो कृष्ण के सामने उठा रहे हैं वो वही सवाल हैं जो संजय उनको कान में फूंक मारकर कह गए। और वो पहली बार युद्ध करने नहीं गया। और उसका उत्तर क्या आया, मैं वहां से अपनी बात शुरू करना चाहता हूं। जब कृष्ण ये देखते हैं कि अपने स्वभाव को गवा बैठा, तो तमाम तर्कों से उस स्वभाव को जगाने का कार्य करते हैं। उसमें राज्य भी है, उसमें समाज भी है, उसमें धर्म भी है, उसमें अध्यात्म भी है, उसमें दर्शन भी है, उसमें व्यवहार भी है, उसमें वो तमाम सवाल हैं जो भारत की थाती हैं, भारत की संपत्ति हैं, आत्मा से जुड़े सवाल हैं, ईश्वर से जुड़े सवाल हैं, राज्य से जुड़े सवाल हैं, संपदा से जुड़े सवाल हैं, अस्तित्व से जुड़े सवाल हैं। उन तमाम सवालों को एड्रेस किसी मंदिर के अंदर नहीं किया गया। उन तमाम सवालों का जवाब युद्ध की भूमि के बीच में दिया गया। और तमाम सवालों का जवाब देने के बाद आह्वान क्या किया गया? धर्म तो जान लिया पर माला पकड़ करके नहीं बैठना, युद्ध करना है। युद्ध करना है, संघर्ष करना है। तमाम अध्यात्म को, तमाम धर्म को, तमाम ज्ञान को अचीव करने के बाद भी पर्वत की कंदरा में भाग नहीं जाना है, लोगों के बीच में रह करके काम करना है। युद्धाय कृत निश्चय, फैसला कर, निर्णय कर। किसका? युद्ध का मतलब गला काटना नहीं है। अपने विचार को, अपने आइडियाज को, अपने बेहतर को, अपने सर्वश्रेष्ठ को सारी दुनिया तक, तमाम मानवता तक पहुंचाने के लिए फैसला कर, इरादा कर, संकल्प कर, कदम उठा, आगे बढ़, लोगों को साथ लेकर के। और यह फैसला जगाने का काम महाभारत के मैदान में जब योगेश्वर कृष्ण ने अर्जुन को कहा तो बिल्कुल अंत में जाइए, करिष्ये वचनम तव, करिष्ये वचनम तव, स्थितोऽस्मि गत संदेह, करिष्ये वचनम तव। अब मैं स्थिर मन हूं, अब मेरे दिमाग में क्लैरिटी है, मुझे कोई डाउट नहीं है। मुझे दौलत को लेकर के डाउट नहीं है कि मैं पिछड़ जाऊंगा, मुझे पद को लेकर के डाउट नहीं है कि मैं पिछड़ जाऊंगा, मुझे श्वासों को लेकर डाउट नहीं है कि मैं मर जाऊंगा, मुझे आत्मा को लेकर डाउट नहीं है कि मेरा विनाश हो जाएगा। जिन तमाम भयों के कारण मैं डर कर पीछे लग जाता हूं, बैठ जाता हूं, दुबक जाता हूं, चिप जाता हूं, डिरेल होता हूं, थकता हूं, उन तमाम डरों को अब मैं पीछे छोड़ रहा हूं। स्थितोऽस्मि, मैं एक योगी स्वभाव का, और मैं वैसा हूं जैसा ऋषि दयानंद था कि जहर दिया जाएगा तो कदम नहीं पीछे खींचूंगा, मकसद से हिलूंगा नहीं, उद्देश्य से हिलूंगा नहीं, जहां डटा हूं उस कार्य को मजबूती के साथ करूंगा, ये भाव लेकर के अर्जुन योगेश्वर कृष्ण के साथ युद्ध के मैदान में खड़े होते हैं और वो परिणाम आगे चलता है। उपस्थित महानुभाव, मैं आपसे क्या कहना चाहता हूं, हमारे मन में 1000 किस्म की आशंकाएं हैं। हमारे मनों में कई बार यह है कि लोग मेरे बारे में क्या सोचेंगे, मैं हवन करूंगा, मैं धर्म करूंगा, मैं अध्यात्म करूंगा, मैं मंत्र पाठ करूंगा, मैं अपनी थाती को प्रश्रय दूंगा। मेरे मन का जो हीनता का बोध है, इंफीरियरिटी है, उस इंफीरियरिटी के कारण हम तमाम तरह के दबावों के नीचे आते हैं और सरेंडर करते हैं। सरेंडर नहीं करना, सांस्कृतिक रास्ते पर, वैल्यूज के रास्ते पर कभी सरेंडर नहीं करना। हम आत्महंता लोग नहीं हैं, हम जिद्दी लोग भी नहीं हैं, हम ऋषियों की थाती के साथ हैं। जहां सर्वजन हिताय सर्वजन सुखाय का भाव है, हम उस पताका को लेकर के चलने वाले आदमी हैं। कृणवंतो विश्वमार्यम, हम आर्यम का मतलब सारी दुनिया का नाम हिंदी में कर दें, ये हमारी मंशा नहीं है, लेकिन सारे दुनिया का मन ऋषियों जैसा कर दें, ये हमारी मंशा है और ये हमारा उद्देश्य है। सारी दुनिया के मन में श्रेष्ठता का भाव जागे, और वो जगाने के लिए वो यकायक नहीं होगा, वो अकस्मात नहीं होगा, वो हमारे करने से होगा। और उस करने के लिए मैं आपसे निवेदन करूंगा, कुछ टारगेट तय करिए। भारत के संदर्भ में आर्य समाज की एक भूमिका है। ऋषि दयानंद की जन्म जयंती का ये 200वां वर्ष है और आर्य समाज की स्थापना का अगले वर्ष हम 150वां वर्ष मनाएंगे। हमें आगे कल भाई भुवनेश जी, भाई रणवीर जी और बहुत सारे लोग ये चर्चा यहां पर कर रहे थे कि हम 100 वर्ष के मौके पर नहीं थे और 200 वर्ष के मौके पर नहीं होंगे आर्य समाज की स्थापना के, लेकिन जिस मौके पर हम हैं उस मौके पर ऐसा करके तो जाएं कि आने वाले लोग 200वां वर्ष भी मनाएं, 250वां वर्ष भी मनाएं, 300वां वर्ष भी मनाएं और ये परंपरा लगातार चलती रहे। वो कार्य तो भाई विनय ने भी हमारे सामने कहा कि हम वो काम तो करके जाएं, और उसके लिए मैं आपको परामर्श दूंगा, आप स्वाध्याय को फोकस करिए, आप संस्कारों को फोकस करिए और आप संगठन को फोकस करिए। इन तीनों में आर्य समाज का संपूर्ण कंसर्न आकर के खड़ा होगा। हम स्वाध्याय से मुक्त होंगे, हम संस्कारों की परवाह नहीं करेंगे और हम सांगठनिक तौर तरीकों की कद्र नहीं करेंगे, तो हमारा मिशन बहुत पीछे छूट जाएगा। हम स्वाध्याय को बढ़ाएं, हर आर्य समाज से जुड़ा हुआ आदमी तय करे कि वो ऋषियों की वाणी को, ऋषि दयानंद के माध्यम से ऋषियों के संदेश को समझेगा, पढ़ेगा। आर्य समाज ने, ऋषि दयानंद ने बहुत छोटी छोटी परिभाषाएं लिखी हैं। हमारे तमाम डाउट्स, धर्म क्या है, यज्ञ क्या है, शिक्षा क्या है, संस्कार क्या है, तीर्थ क्या है, पूजा क्या है, व्रत क्या है, उपवास क्या है, स्वर्ग क्या है, नरक क्या है, तमाम चीजों की परिभाषाएं ऋषि दयानंद ने 2-2, 3-3 लाइन में वो डेफिनेशंस लिखी हैं। उन डेफिनेशंस को यदि आप पढ़ेंगे तो बहुत सारे सवाल मन के अंदर जो मौजूद हैं यकायक दूर होंगे, खत्म होंगे। स्वाध्याय का साथ मत छोड़िए। तालमेल बुरी चीज नहीं है, पर खुद की पहचान भुला करके, खुद का अस्तित्व मिटा करके किसी के साथ चलना, मेरे ख्याल से यह भारत की परंपरा नहीं है। सारी दुनिया का अभिनंदन है पर हमारा अस्तित्व जो हमारा है और जो लॉजिकल है, हम उसके साथ आगे चलेंगे, हम उस पर गर्व करेंगे। मैं तालमेल का विरोधी नहीं हूं, आप तमाम लोगों से तालमेल कर लें, लेकिन जो आर्य समाज की मूल चेतना है, हमारे विचार में, हमारे संबोधनों में, हमारे संवादों में, हमारे डिस्कशंस में, हमारे डिस्कोर्सेज में, वो जिंदा रहे। उस स्वाध्याय के रास्ते को बढ़ाइए, और यदि आप उस स्वाध्याय के रास्ते से चलेंगे तो हमारे बालक पीछे 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 हमारे कदमों के पथिक बन जाएंगे। वो माहौल नहीं है घरों में। न जान कभी दौर था जब खतरे बहुत छोटे थे, आज खतरों का स्वरूप बहुत बढ़ गया। हर पॉकेट एक बहुत बड़े खतरे के साथ चल रही है। जिस हाथ में मोबाइल है, लैपटॉप है, तमाम दुनिया की इंफॉर्मेशंस है। कोई भी आदमी कहीं भी बैठकर किसी भी घड़ी कोई शरारत करता है, और वो शरारत मेरे बालक के दिमाग को अप्रोच करती है। हमारी निगरानी क्या है? मैं माफी मांग करके कहना चाहता हूं, मेरी बात का बुरा ना मनाएं, मैं भी कहीं पीता हूं, और बहुत दफा इस बात को महसूस करता हूं कि हमारे बालकों की परवरिश कुछ इस तरह हो रही है जैसे यतीम की परवरिश होती है। हमने मानसिक तौर पर, बौद्धिक तौर पर, तार्किक तौर पर, सांस्कृतिक तौर पर अपने बालकों को लगभग, मेरे शब्द का बुरा मत मनाएं, मेरे भाव को पकड़ने की कोशिश करें, अनाथ छोड़ दिया है। हमारी टीचिंग्स नहीं है, हम कह नहीं पा रहे, हमारा गला सूख रहा है। समानांतर में दूसरे समाज देखता हूं। कल भाई राकेश मुझे नासा सेंटर लेकर के गए। मैंने नासा जैसे सेंटर के अंदर काम करते हुए बच्चों को एक कंप्लीट ड्रेस कोड में देखा। बालक वही पानी पी रहे हैं, वही कल्चर है, वही न्यूज़पेपर्स हैं, वही सोशल मीडिया है, वही लोग हैं, वही फ्रेंड्स हैं, वही सरकार है, वही देश है। वो चीजें रिसीव कहां से कर रहे हैं, उनका कनेक्ट कहां से है? क्या उसमें फैमिली का कोई रोल नहीं है? और यदि वहां वो प्रैक्टिस जिंदा है, दुनिया के किसी भी कोने में कोई प्रैक्टिस जिंदा है, तो दुनिया के हर कोने में, हर जगह वो प्रैक्टिस जिंदा हो सकती है। लेकिन हमारे गले सूखते जा रहे हैं। वो स्पेस, हम वो अरसा भूल गए जब बालक के कंधे पर हाथ रख करके हम गली का चक्कर लगा ले। हम बच्चे के कैरियर में इतना ज्यादा स्पेस देते चले गए कि उसके दिमाग को हमें पता ही नहीं चल रहा कि कौन समझा करके, क्या समझा करके जा रहा है। मैं आपसे कहूंगा, निगरानी करिए। मैंने पहले दिन भी आपसे निवेदन किया था, मम्मी और पापा वो हैं, उनका दायित्व तब पूरा होगा जब वो अपने बेहतर को अपनी संतति में ट्रांसफर कर दे। उसके पहले किसी का पिता होना, उसके पहले किसी का मां होना पूरा नहीं होता है। आखिर विरासत हमारी फैक्ट्रीज तो नहीं है। ये विचार, ये संस्कार, ये पहनावा, ये यज्ञोपवीत, ये भी तो एक संपदा का हिस्सा है। इनका वारिस कौन है? इनका वारिस कहां से पैदा होगा? इनके वारिस ये यूथ है जो यहां खड़े थे। मैं आपको फिर याद दिलाऊंगा, हमारे हिंदू समाज में हमारे बहुत सारे भाई योगेश्वर को भगवान का दर्जा देते हैं और एक गीत भी गुनगुनाते हैं, जब जब धर्म की हानि होगी भगवान पैदा होंगे। मैं आपको याद दिलाता चलूं, कौरव कुल में एक बालक पैदा हो गया। कौरव कुल में नहीं, यदुवंश में। महाभारत का युद्ध संपन्न हुआ, उसके पश्चात, उसके बाद जब योगेश्वर कृष्ण द्वारिका चले गए, एक बालक पैदा हुआ, सांब। तमाम महाभारत में बहुत सारे सिंबॉलिक कथानक हैं, उन सिंबल्स को मैं एक्सप्लेन नहीं करूंगा। और वो सांब नाटक मंडली का बालक बन गया। उसने एक बड़ा समूह बना लिया, तमाम उपद्रव करने लगा, खान पान में शुचिता नहीं रही, वैल्यूज को कद्र नहीं करना, तमाम वैल्यूज का, मर्यादाओं का मखौल उड़ाना, मजाक उड़ाना, और एक दिन पेट पर बड़ा सा कपड़ा बांध करके, तकिया बांध करके कहीं किन्हीं महात्माओं के पास पहुंचा और महात्माओं से कहने लगा कि जाकर के बताओ मेरे पेट से क्या पैदा होगा। मखौल का स्वरूप देखिए। संत लोग आए हुए थे, टिके हुए थे, जिसके दाढ़ी लगी हैं, बाल लगे हैं, वो संत समझ रहे हैं कि ये फीमेल नहीं है, ये मेल है, और वो बालक पेट पर तकिया बांध करके गर्भ की अवस्था बना करके प्रेग्नेंट का रूप धर करके पूछ रहा है कि बताइए मेरे गर्भ से क्या पैदा होगा। महात्माओं ने कहा भाई अपना काम कर, हमें संध्या भजन करने नहीं, बताइए आप तो साधु हैं, मेरे पेट से क्या पैदा होगा। अरे जा भाई अपना काम, नहीं बताइए आप। मखौल का स्वरूप देखिए। और महाभारत का कथानक कहता है कि उनमें से एक महात्मा ने जवाब दिया, तेरे पेट से मूसल पैदा होगा और तेरे कुल का नाश करेगा। मूसल समझते? जो पुराने लोग हैं, कभी हमारी जब गेहूं और चावल को ओखली में कूटा करते थे जैन साहब, उसे मूसल बोलते थे। तेरे पेट से मूसल पैदा होगा और तुम्हारा नाश करेगा। और कहते हैं जब वो चीज पहुंची, उसके पेट से मूसल पैदा हुआ, सिंबॉलिक है, समझने के लिए। और मूसल पैदा हुआ, और मूसल पैदा हुआ। जब ये घटना कृष्ण को पता लगी तो उन्होंने कहा इसे घिस दो। उस मूसल को घिस दिया, घिस करके पानी में बहा दिया। उसकी एक छोटी सी कील बची, वो एक मछली निकल गई। उस पानी से फटीरे पैदा हो गए, बड़े बड़े से जो सरकंडे टाइप पैदा होते हैं। और कहते हैं जब यदु कुल के बालकों का चाल चलन बिगड़ा, दारू पी पी करके आपस में लड़े, दूसरे को काट काट करके मर गए। वो जो एक कील बच गई थी, उस कील को एक बहेलिये ने जो है मछली को पकड़ा, मछली के पेट से निकली, उससे तीर बनाया और योगेश्वर कृष्ण का शरीरांत उस कील के साथ। ये सिंबॉलिक है। कोई घटना ऐसी घटी होगी, आप मत मेरे से पूछिए कि ऐसा कोई कथानक हुआ है क्या, लेकिन यदि इसका कोई मीनिंग है तो वो इतना है, जब कोई समाज की पीढ़ी, नव युवा नॉन सीरियस होते हैं, वैल्यूज को लेकर के, सांस्कृतिक तौर तरीकों को लेकर के, चाल चलन को लेकर के, चरित्र को लेकर के, जब वो इतने नॉन सीरियस हो कि हर चीज उनके लिए मखौल दिखाई पड़ने लग जाए, तो समझिए कि विनाश वैसे ही हो जाता है। योगेश्वर कृष्ण के जिंदा रहते यदु कुल का विनाश हुआ, हां या ना? उनके जिंदा रहते विनाश हुआ। जन्म लेकर के तब उद्धार करेंगे, तब करेंगे भगवान। यहां तो जिंदा रहते विनाश हो रहा है। क्यों? क्योंकि जो चीज जीवन देती हैं, उन चीजों को वैल्यू करना बहुत जरूरी है। और इसलिए जो मैं दूसरा पॉइंट आपके सामने रख रहा हूं, वो संस्कार। मुझे खुशी है आचार्य ब्रह्मदेव जैसे लोग आपके बीच में हैं। यहां उन बालकों को आप वो हस्तांतरित करें, उन बालकों तक उस चीज को पहुंचाएं, उस झंडे को साधने वाले दूसरे लोग तो हों। हमारे घरों में वो परंपराएं चलें। मैं आपसे आग्रह पूर्वक कहूंगा कि अपने घरों को गुरुकुल का कंसेप्ट दीजिए। आप शिक्षक बनिए। ऋषि दयानंद ने मां और पिता को पहले आचार्य कहा है। जो शिक्षक है वो तो बाद का आचार्य है। और आचार्य का अर्थ आचिनोति अर्थान आचारम ग्रहायति, जो आचरण को ग्रहण करवाता है, वो कार्य हमें करना होगा। ऋषि दयानंद के सिद्धांतों को, भारत के सिद्धांतों को, ऋषियों की परंपराओं को, आर्ष परंपराओं को हमें धीरे धीरे आगे बढ़ाना होगा। ये मैं दूसरी बात आपको जोर दे करके कहूंगा। और तीसरी बात, आप अपने संगठन को ऊर्जावान करिए। यदि वो संगठन ऊर्जावान होगा, हम थोड़ा थोड़ा सा कंट्रीब्यूट कर। देखो भारत में एक परंपरा रही है दशांश देना। अपनी कमाई का 10% जो अपना है, कमाई छोड़िए, जो अपना है उसका 10% कंट्रीब्यूट करना, ये धर्म है। हमारा क्या है? सिर्फ डॉलर्स नहीं है, सिर्फ पैसा नहीं है, समय भी प्रॉपर्टी है। आप तय करिए अपना 10% समय देंगे, आप तय करिए अपनी 10% प्रतिभा देंगे। आपका जो टैलेंट है डिफरेंट किस्म का, आप आईटी में काम कर सकते हैं, आप संगठन में काम कर सकते हैं, आप किसी दूसरी चीजों का दायित्व उठा सकते हैं, आप जो भी दे सकते हैं, आप अपने में से 10%, 10% आप जरूर कंट्रीब्यूट करें अपने संगठन के लिए। ध्यान रखना, बस्ती में आग लगती है तो अकेला घर कभी सुरक्षित नहीं रहता। तबाह होते हैं तो वन के वन, जंगल के जंगल तबाह हो जाते हैं। मैं अकेला बचा रह जाऊं, बाकी जंगल तबाह हो जाए, बस्ती तबाह हो जाए, बचूंगा मैं भी नहीं। और इसलिए एक यात्रा हमारी भाषा की यात्रा भी है, आई से वी तक की, अहम से वयम तक की। वेद की तमाम प्रार्थनाओं का स्वरूप बहुवचनांत है। धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्, मेरी अकेले की बुद्धि प्रेरित ना हो। नः का मतलब वी, हम सब की, हम सब में वो ज्योति आए, हम सब में वो जुनून आए, हम सब में वो संकल्प आए, हम सब में वो कमिटमेंट आए, हम सब में वो इच्छा शक्ति आए। और जब वो इच्छा शक्ति हमारी संपत्ति बनती है तो कोई भी संतान आगे बढ़कर के उस चीज को उठाने के लिए तैयार होती है। इसलिए मैं आपसे निवेदन करूंगा, हमारे संस्कारों से जो चीज जाएगी, हमारी घरों से जो चीज जाएगी, वो अल्टीमेट होगी। और अंत में अपनी बात को समाप्त करूं, क्योंकि भाई विशुद्ध सामने आकर बैठ गए हैं। आप महाभारत में जब अर्जुन कमजोर पड़े ना, तो कृष्ण ने उन्हें जगाने का काम किया। और आप देखिए, जहां जहां जगाने के लिए कह रहे हैं, उस समय वो भरत सब नहीं कह रहे, उस समय वो अर्जुन नहीं कह रहे, उस समय वो बार बार उनको कह रहे हैं पार्थ, कौन्तेय, क्लैब्यम मा स्मगम पार्थ, तस्माद् उत्तिष्ठ कौन्तेय, युद्धाय कृत निश्चय। या तो वो पार्थ कह रहे हैं या वो कौन्तेय कह रहे हैं। जरा विचार करिए क्यों कह रहे हैं। वो बार बार उसे उसकी मां के नाम से बुला रहे हैं। पार्थ माने प्रथा, प्रथा माने कुंती का दूसरा नाम, प्रथा का बेटा पार्थ। या तो वो पार्थ कह रहे हैं या वो कौन्तेय कह रहे हैं। और मुझे लगता है कि वो विलफुली इस बात को कह रहे हैं और बार बार याद दिला रहे हैं कि तेरे भागने का मतलब कुंती के दूध का अपमान है, तू नहीं भाग सकता। तेरे भागने का मतलब, मैं आपको याद दिला दूं, मेरे जैसे कमजोर आदमी को कोई एक गाली दे दे तो मैं उसका प्रतिवाद करने को तैयार नहीं होऊंगा। वो मुझे 2 चपेटे भी मार दे तो भी मैं चुपचाप रास्ता बचा करके निकलना चाहूंगा कि मुंह मा तोड़ देगा, गर्दन तोड़ देगा। लेकिन सामने वाला यदि कभी ये चैलेंज उछाल दे कि माँ का दूध पिया है तो सामने आ, फिर देखो माइक टाइसन से भी मेरे जैसा आदमी भिड़ने के लिए कैसे बाजुए चढ़ाता है। ये जज्बा, ये जो माँ के दूध के साथ संस्कार आता है, ये भाव जगाने के लिए बार बार कृष्ण अर्जुन को या तो पार्थ कह करके खड़ा करना चाह रहे हैं या कौन्तेय कह करके खड़ा करना चाह रहे हैं। वो जो स्वत्व का भाव है वो मां के रास्ते, वो पिता के रास्ते जितना बच्चे में आएगा उतना आचार्य के रास्ते नहीं आएगा। आप अपनी उस जिम्मेदारी को पकड़िए, और यदि आप उस जिम्मेदारी को पकड़ेंगे तो निश्चित रूप से एक रास्ता बड़ा सा बनेगा, मार्ग बड़ा सा बनेगा। मजबूरियां तो वेद व्यास के सामने भी थी। सारा महाभारत लिखा और कतई अंतिम श्लोक पढ़िए, क्या कह रहे हैं? उदबाहु ऊर्ध्वबाहु विरोमीश न कश्चित श्रृणोति। मैं बाजुए उठा उठा करके चिल्ला रहा हूं, अरे सुनो सुनो सुनो। कैसा माहौल हो गया, कोई मेरी सुन नहीं रहा। ये परेशानी वेद व्यास भी महसूस करते हैं, ये परेशानी हर जिम्मेदार आदमी महसूस करेगा। लेकिन वेद व्यास ने साथ ही ये कहा है, परेशानी के बावजूद गले को आराम नहीं देना, चुप नहीं बैठना है, आपको जागरूक रहना होगा। इसे बहाना मत बनाइए कि नहीं सुनते हैं। ये परेशानी वहां थी, ये परेशानी आज भी है, ये हर युग में है, हर दौर में है। आप अपनी स्किल को बढ़ाइए, आप अपने समय को बढ़ाइए, आप अपने संकल्प को बढ़ाइए, आप नए तरीके ईजाद करिए। और जब हम लोग स्वाध्याय के साथ संस्कारों को लक्ष्य करके, संगठन को लक्ष्य करके आगे बढ़ेंगे तो हमारा कारवां धीरे 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 आगे बढ़ता चला जाएगा। मैं आपका वक्त ज़्यादा जाया नहीं करूंगा। मैं बहुत हृदय से आभार व्यक्त करता हूं भाई भुवनेश खोसला जी का, भाई विश्रुत आर्य जी का, और तमाम आर्य समाज से, आर्य प्रतिनिधि सभा से जुड़े हुए सभी महानुभावों का, कि उन्होंने मुझे भी अपनी बात कहने का, लगातार इन भाइयों का स्नेह बना ही रहता है। और अपनी जैसे भी मैं आपके साथ आकर के कहीं ना कहीं एक ऐसी ऊर्जा लेकर के जाता हूँ, इस देश में काम करना भारत में काम करने से 10 गुना कम से कम ज्यादा मुश्किल है। और उस अवस्था में भी, उस हालात में भी आपके कार्यक्रम हम जैसे भारत में काम करने वाले लोगों के लिए एक प्रेरणा का, इंस्पिरेशन का काम करते हैं। तो हम प्रेरणा लेने के लिए यहाँ आते हैं। मैं पुनः उस बात के लिए आपको बधाई देता हूँ। बहुत सुंदर एक सम्यक आयोजन आपने किया। आप सभी के प्रति बहुत बहुत आभार और बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। नमस्ते।
You know, when the program committee decided on the theme and all the deliberations were done, that these are the topics, we could have not come up with a better speaker to start as the keynote and the valedictorian speech of the 33rd Arya Mahasammelan. डॉक्टर राजेंद्र जी, एक छोटे से आग्रह पे आप सिर्फ 3 दिन के लिए भारत से यहाँ आए, हमें सबको प्रेरणा दी। किन शब्दों से मैं आपका धन्यवाद करूं? मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा आदरणीय संजय जैन जी से, विश्वजीत जी से, भूषण जी से 2 मिनट के लिए आके आप प्लीज़ डॉक्टर राजेंद्र जी को सभा की ओर से फैसिलिटेट कीजिए। On the occasion of 200th birth anniversary of Maharishi Dayanand Saraswati, Arya Pratni Sabha America honors Dr. Rajendra Vidyalankar ji for his inspirational work as an educationist and a dedicated promoter of Vedic values, presented at 33rd Arya Mahasammelan, July 27 to 30th, Houston, Texas. I will take just 3 minutes to do a little bit of justice to summarize what Dr. Vidyalankar said this morning. He took us back to the battlefield of Mahabharata when Arjun had this imbalance in his mind. He asked the question, what is right for me, what is right for nation, and what is right thing to do by dharma? And what was the source of the worry? It was the storm in his mind. And Dr. Rajendra ji uses this word swabhav. कुछ शब्द ऐसे होते हैं, some words which you cannot translate, but the closest word I could come up with is what is my temperament. When your temperament is attacked, just like it was of Arjun, 1,000 different options come in your mind. Which direction do I go in? While somebody like Sanjay has advised Arjun not to fight as a strategy, because from his strength, from his military and army and the weaponry strength, he knew the result already. But do a mental attack so he would run away from the battlefield. And when the question was asked by Arjun to Yogeshwar Krishna, that what do I do when my temperament has been attacked? Questions regarding nation, my existence, they're all must be answered in the battlefield is the message. The answer is not, to follow dharma does not mean go to the Himalayas and disappear. Moving forward to Maharishi Dayanand. Yes, the answers come through meditation and solace and all those things. But the action has to be on the battlefield. You cannot remove and fight against the social evils by sitting in a cave. You have to come on the ground level and make the impact. And when you leave all doubts behind, all fears behind, true determination, just like Maharishi Dayananda Saraswati, even if you're given poison, you will not reverse from your path of truth and righteousness. Dr. Rajendra gave us 3 values that we must remember to enhance. Swadhyay, eternal education, never stop learning. It gives you improvement, whether you're 6-year-old or you're 85 years old. Never ever stop learning. Number 2, sanskar. Talk about the importance of our values, of our sanskars. He talked about when we leave generations alone, don't give them that value system. They take sanskars, they take our values as just plain rubbish. Then the indication is that the destruction is near. And that's what we have to protect. And lastly, the third value is Sangathan. He inspired us that whatever we have for ourselves, not only from what we earn, our families, our culture, our bank balance, but equally our time, give 10% back to the organization. 10% back to the Sangathan, to Arya Samaj. So thank you, Dr. Rajendra ji. Hopefully I've done a little bit of justice for those who don't follow. I think in interest of time, I'll just summarize this rather than going through. So one of the workshops we held yesterday was a session of introspect. An introspect of an organization. It was a SWOT analysis that our youth leaders, and youth, I don't mean the children, but people who are dynamic leaders working or inspiring to work for the cause of our Samaj in different regions of the country. We performed a SWOT analysis. For those of you who don't know, it's an analysis of a company. Generally, this is used in the corporate world, is figure out what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what your opportunities are, and what are threats. And the point is to take our strengths, build upon our weaknesses, and turn them into opportunities, and that will help alleviate the threats. So again, this was a very candid talk, and don't go on any of the numbers, but the two main strengths that were identified by the leaders, the dynamic leaders of Arya Samaj, is that Arya Samaj, we have the fact-based content. That is our biggest strength. Unobjectionable, universal Vedic values. And the second most biggest strength that was identified, that all members, all Aryas recognize that we have a Rishi Rin. We have debt to the Rishi, that we must work to pay back. Of course, it was an introspect, so the list of weaknesses was bigger, and that was the point of the dialogue, is to figure out, point to ourselves, look inside, what can we improve on? Our lack of preacher pool, communication and data share, a lack of trust amongst each other, not able to package the message which connects with youth, our B2B relationship, the trust between different Arya Samajas, conflicting sources of Vedic literature and references, and our ever-disabling politics. These were the top of the few weaknesses that the team in a round table came up, which we'll move forward in discussing. The opportunities that are presented to us for Arya Samaj are service projects, advocacy against such programs as the caste bills, opportunity to do civic engagement to make social change, effectively target and provide solutions to mental health, provide training to local priests and encourage people to become pracharaks and Vedic value promoters so that our pool increases. And we have the opportunity, because the value system that we're trying to push forward, preserve and promote, is universal. So that applies to all. So the focus can be very broad. And the couple of threats that were brought up was the advocacy against Hindus in North America currently right now. And that's a threat for all of us, and also an opportunity area where Arya Samaj can get behind that cause. And then the misinformation that is being spread about Vedic Dharma, especially online. If you were to Google Dharma, what are all the misconceptions and all the different things you were coming up? So these are types of things that are working against us, but we must turn them into our opportunities using our threats. We know we all have a Rishi Rin. We know we have the right facts. But then I think with the three values that Dr. Rajendraji gave, really the solutions lie with Swadhyay, first educating ourselves, not just ourselves, but of course the world. Number 2, sanskar, having the right value system and grow spiritually, and of course making our Sangathan strong. So this was I think we had about 15 or 16 different individuals from all over the United States who were present and giving the feedback. This was not an end of the dialogue. This was beginning of a dialogue. And we will have Zoom calls, we'll meet virtually and in person starting in a couple of weeks from now, and then form an agenda on how we can have more things in our strength. We'll always have threats, we'll all have weaknesses, but again, the point is to have this, strengthen this Sangathan, keep this dialogue open, because the answers are, again, going back to Dr. Rajendraji's message, that answers are within the battlefield, and that's where the solutions are. So thank you. Hopefully you found this introspect useful. Appreciate it. I think now I'm holding you guys back for your flights, and okay. So may I request our host, starting with Sanjay Jainji, of course. Anybody from Houston in this room, please come forward. Team Houston, and please don't shy. Also, Arya Pratni Sabha executive team, for those who are still here, please come up. Anybody in the hallway, Parvinder ji, Renu ji, anybody you see from the host committee, please come up. Sunita ji, are you here from the executive team? I think Ranbir ji had to go. मेरे को सारे नाम याद नहीं है, मैं कल याद करके आऊंगा. हाँ जी आप.
हाँ जी, Houston Management Committee, please come forward, join us here in the main. This is the closing day of the Sammelan. Please come forward, join. Jasbir ji नहीं दिख रहे, आ गए, okay. आइए.
हाँ जी, कोई रह गया? राजेश जी, फोटो कोई और ले लेगा, आप इधर आ जाओ. हाँ जी, जल्दी जल्दी आ जाओ. हाँ जी, यूथ लीडर्स टू. हाँ जी.
आचार्य सुरेंद्र जी, आचार्य ब्रह्मदेव जी, प्लीज अंदर आइए हॉल के. ओ, ब्रह्मदेव जी यहीं पर हैं. आचार्य सुरेंद्र जी, प्लीज कम जॉइन अस. आचार्य सुरेंद्र जी, प्लीज.
नहीं, अब तो आ गए ना.
सबको जो आने आ जाए. That's only name not calling out.
Okay ji. Quick, raise of hands. Food committee. Logistics. Audio visual. Hosts. सारे ही हैं ना. So it is an honor for me to present a little token of gratitude on the 200th birth anniversary of Maharishi Dayanand Saraswati ji. On behalf of the Executive Committee of Arya Pratni Sabha America, we honor the leaders and volunteers of Arya Samaj Greater Houston for the outstanding dedication and commitment for the success, probably one of the most successful Arya Mahasammelans, the 33rd Arya Mahasammelan. Yay! Arya Samaj, Greater Houston.
Can we have each of you stay here for a minute? Just stay here. We want to recognize few more folks who worked relentlessly for the success of the program. First is our book stall team, Manu Sidhu ji, Avani Sidhu, they are from Arya Samaj Austin, and Mukta Man, and then Vidya Sagar Garg ji as well. They ran the show in the book stall. Give them a round of applause. And I want to call out 3 seniors who, despite of their health situation, they took the courage to be in the Sammelan. First is Chandar Sehgal ji. He must be sitting in the back. Give them a round of applause. और एक माता जी जो हैं वो टोरंटो से आई हुई हैं. उनका एक बार फ़ोन आया 7 दिन पहले कि मैंने अपने बेटे को बोला है कि सम्मेलन में जाना मेरे लिए पिलग्रिमेज है, तो मुझे वहाँ जाना ही जाना है. तो चंचल पंडो जी माता जी जो बैठी हुई हैं, उनका भी बहुत बहुत स्वागत हम करेंगे. और हमारे अटलांटा से डॉक्टर वीडी शर्मा जी जो हमारे कंटिन्यूड इंस्पिरेशन है, ही इज़ हियर टू, तो उनका भी हम एक बार स्वागत करेंगे, धन्यवाद करेंगे. उसके अलावा सम्मेलन में कोई भी कमी रही हो उसके लिए हम लोग जिम्मेदारी लेते हैं. कोई भी कमी है उसको क्षमा करके आप लोग उसको यहीं पर भूल करके जाइएगा और अगले सम्मेलन के लिए कमिटमेंट लेकर के जाइएगा. बट डू शेयर योर एक्सपीरियंसेस विद अस, वट एवर ट्रांसपोर्टेशन थिंग्स लाइक दैट. कोई भी इशू रहा है, survey will be following, but please give us the constructive feedback, but do not take any negative thoughts from here. One goal has been that we double the enthusiasm, positivity and harmony along with the local organization, and I think with the support of all the greater Houston team we have been able to achieve that. So I want to thank you all for doing that. Okay, two more general announcements. For any Arya Samajes, if you need the books in bulk, books or flags or Angavastram in bulk, just take it and send any donation to the Sabha. Money or the cost is not mattering. And last thing, that if you end up doing a pledge, check with your employer. If there is a match, send it through your employer so that Sabha gets the double donation for that. I think that, and you want to add something, Bhuvanesh?
Will just be 2 more minutes, please. So as you know, Vishwaji and I are not going home today, back to Atlanta and Detroit respectively. We're flying to New York for the starting of the preparation of the 2024 Sammelan. The dates will be finalized by tomorrow. Adini Vinayji and Dr. Rajendraji are joining us to be on the campus of St. John's University in Queens for the 2024 International Arya Mahasammelan. Again, thank you for your presence. May I request Acharya ji for Shanti Path at this point. And we can have a group photo. Stay as long as you like. After the Shanti Path, please. Yeah. Hanji, Sanjay.
नमस्कार, मुझे सिर्फ 30 सेकंड दीजिए. हम लोग तो 100 वॉलंटियर्स को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं, तो my gratitude to each one of you. If you can hear me in the lobby, in the dining hall, in the kitchen, sincere gratitude for everybody who's put their heart out to make this Sammelan what it has been. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. सभी वॉलंटियर्स के लिए, सभी कमेटी लीड्स के लिए.
Prisha, are you here? Come forward, please. Prisha? नहीं, उसको लाता हूँ. Can we have silence, please? Yeah. शांति पाठ यानी शांति के लिए प्रार्थना. Till I don't get silence, I'm not starting, and I'm not to be blamed. I want pin drop silence. Shanti Path. Om Sam Samidyo Vase Vrishan Agne Vishwanyarya Ilaspade Samidhyase Sano Vasunya Bhara Om Sangachadvam Samvadadvam Samvo Manansi Janatam Deva Bhagam Yatha Purve Sanjanana Upasate Om Samanu Mantra Samiti Samani Samanam Mana Sahachittamesham Samanam Mantramabhimantrayeva Samanena Vohavishajuhomi Om Samani Vakuti Samana Hridayani Va Samanamastu Vo Mano Yatha Vasu Sahasati हे प्रभु तुम शक्तिशाली हो बनाते सृष्टि को वेद सब गाते तुम्हें है कीजिए धन वृष्टि को प्रेम से मिलकर चलो बोलो सभी ज्ञानी बनो पूर्वजों की भांति तुम कर्तव्य के मानी बनो हो विचार समान सबके चित्त मन सब एक हूँ ज्ञान देता हूँ बराबर भोग्य पास बने कहूँ हूँ सभी के दिल तथा संकल्प विरोधी सदा मन भरे हूँ प्रेम से जिससे बढ़े सुख संपदा मनुष्य परक इस अर्थ करते हुए Thabo Mbeki, former president of South Africa, was in a convocation commencement ceremony, and he described it beautifully. Common be our thoughts, common be our goals and objectives, common be our strategies to attain those goals. Third line. सब वेद पढ़ें सुविचार बढ़ें बल पाय चढ़ें नित्य ऊपर को सब वेद पढ़ें सुविचार बढ़ें बल पाय चढ़ें नित्य ऊपर को अविरोध रहें रे जो पंथ गए अविरोध रहें रे जो पंथ गए परिवार कहें वसुधा भर को परिवार कहें वसुधा भर को सब वेद पढ़ें सुविचार बढ़ें बल पाय चढ़ें नित्य ऊपर को ध्रुव धर्म धरे पर दुख हरे ध्रुव धर्म धरे पर दुख हरे तन त्याग तरे भव सागर को तन त्याग तरे भव सागर को सब वेद पढ़ें सुविचार बढ़ें बल पाय चढ़ें नित्य ऊपर को दिन फेर पिता वर दे सविता दिन फेर पिता वर दे सविता हम आर्य करें जगती भर को हम आर्य करें जगती भर को सब वेद पढ़ें सुविचार बढ़ें बल पाय चढ़ें नित्य ऊपर को बल पाय चढ़ें नित्य ऊपर को शांति पाठ ओम द्यौ शान्तिरन्तरिक्षं शान्ति पृथिवी शान्तिरापः शान्तिरोषधयः शान्ति वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्विश्वे देवाः शान्तिर्ब्रह्म शान्तिः सर्वं शान्ति शान्तिरेव शान्ति सामा शान्तिरेधि ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. The kids from Atlanta would be doing Shanti Geet and Prisha will come for Bhojan Mantra.
I'll say one line, please repeat after me. शांति कीजिए प्रभु त्रिभुवन में 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 जल में थल में और गगन में जल में थल में और गगन में अंतरिक्ष में अग्नि पवन में अंतरिक्ष अग्नि पवन में औषधि वनस्पति वन उपवन में औषधि वनस्पति वन उपवन में सकल विश्व के जड़ चेतन में सकल विश्व के जड़ चेतन में शांति कीजिए प्रभु त्रिभुवन में शांति कीजिए प्रभु त्रिभुवन में शांति राष्ट्र निर्माण सृजन में शांति राष्ट्र निर्माण सृजन में नगर ग्राम में और भुवन में जीव मात्र के तन में मन में जीव जो बोले सो भय धर्म की जय। मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम श्री रामचंद्र जी की जय। योगेश्वर श्री कृष्णचंद्र महाराज जी की जय। गुरुवर स्वामी विरजानंद सरस्वती जी की जय। महर्षि स्वामी दयानंद सरस्वती जी की जय। संसार के सभी श्रेष्ठ महापुरुषों की जय। संसार की सभी विदुषी नारियों की जय। आज के आनंद की जय। आज के यजमान की जय। आर्य समाज अमर रहे। वेद की ज्योति जलती रहे। ओम का झंडा ऊंचा रहे। वैदिक ध्वनि। ओम अन्नपते अन्नस्य नोदयनमिव शशुष्मिनः प्रप्रदातारं तारिष ऊर्जं नोदेहि विपदे चतुष्पदे नानानद अन्नो के दाता सबविध अन्न प्रदान करो। रोग रहित और पुष्टि कारक अन्न देयोज प्रदान करो। अन्नदा के मंगल कल का ऐसा प्रभु वेदान करो। प्राणी मात शव पाए भोजन सबको शांति प्रदान करो। सबको शांति प्रदान करो। ओम शांति शांति शांति।
वैदिक अभिवादन। सर्वेभ्यो नमः। सभी को सादर नमस्ते जी।